Have you ever stopped to think about what it means to carry the weight of pain and yet be unable to let it fall as tears? Hyoga, the Swan Saint, knows that feeling all too well. He is the warrior who fights wrapped in Arctic cold, but who, ironically, always carried inside him a heart warmed by the memories of his mother, resting at the bottom of the frozen sea. And it is precisely in this paradox between ice and emotion that his story becomes one of the most striking in Saint Seiya. Hyoga is not just the bronze saint of the swan. He's the young man who had to grow up far too soon, balancing discipline and pain, silence and inner screams, always with that distant, almost melancholic look, as if each battle was also a way of fighting against himself. And maybe that's what makes his journey so unique. Hyoga is the saint who couldn't cry. But what do you mean he couldn't cry? From an early age, training in the icy lands of Siberia shaped him to be cold, resilient, someone capable of withstanding any storm. And at the same time, his mother, forever asleep in the sunken ship, was the warmest and most painful memory he carried. There, in the frozen waters, Hyoga visited the icy tomb where an embrace would never again be possible. Who can cry when tears freeze the moment they touch your face? And this duality of Hyoga between being strong and being human follows him in every battle. Just remember his confrontation with Camus of Aquarius, the master who became an enemy to test his courage. There, Hyoga not only faced blows that froze the very soul, but also the reality that to grow, he would have to accept pain without letting it destroy him. Camus taught him that tears, when frozen, could become strength. And here comes a curious detail. If you'll notice, Hyoga never allows himself to break down in front of others. Even when pain cuts through him, he raises his fist and keeps moving forward. It's as if his tears remain trapped inside him, transformed into ice, crystallized alongside his cosmo. Perhaps this self-control is what makes him so fascinating to fans. Hyoga's fight is not just against Athena's enemies, but against his own heart. Speaking of fighting, have you ever thought about what it would be like to watch these scenes with maximum immersion? Imagine hearing every punch, every cosmo explosion, every icy blast as if you were on the battlefield. And here's a tip. The Raycon Everyday Earbuds Pro are perfect for that. TWS earbuds with insane quality, powerful bass, and noise cancellation that makes you feel inside the anime. Plus, they're compact, discreet, and with long-lasting battery life. If you love watching Saint Seiya or any anime, these earbuds transform the experience. It's like feeling the roar of the cosmo right in your ears. Back to Hyoga, there is a particular scene that shows why this character is one of the most human of the entire saga. When he visits his mother's tomb at the bottom of the sea, his cosmo blends with pain. He dives into that forbidden, silent place where the cold cuts like a blade. There is no battle, no golden armor, no shouting, only him and the memory of the one he loved most. And still, no tear falls, because Hyoga does not cry. He freezes his emotions, turns longing into ice, and continues fighting for Athena and his friends. But that doesn't mean he's insensitive. On the contrary, in many moments, Hyoga shows unshakable loyalty. Whether risking his life to save Shiryu or joining Seiya and Shun in impossible battles, he's the kind of friend who never abandons, even when his heart is shattered. Perhaps his silence speaks louder than any tear. And it's precisely this contrast that moves us. While Seiya is impulsive, Shun is sensitive, and Shiryu is the serene warrior. Hyoga is the guardian of silence, the saint who carries inside him a frozen ocean of feelings, always on the verge of overflowing, but which he himself holds back with firm hands. Maybe because crying, for him, would be a luxury, or maybe because deep down, Hyoga knows that every frozen tear can become a weapon in his fight. And here comes an interesting point. How many times in life do we also freeze our own tears? How many times do we hold back pain so as not to show weakness? Hyoga represents that human side. We all carry the side that pretends to be iced on the outside but keeps burning with emotion on the inside. The Swan Saga is therefore an invitation to reflect. What does it mean to be strong? Is it never crying? Or is it precisely finding a way to turn pain into strength? Hyoga shows us that there is no simple answer, that sometimes bearing the weight of your own tears is the only way to move forward. In the end, Hyoga is the hero who doesn't cry, but who makes crowds of fans shed tears. Because in the silence of his heart, he speaks louder than 1,000 words, and maybe that's what makes him one of the most beloved characters in Saint Seiya. He doesn't need to shed tears because we cry for him. And now I leave you with a question. Could Hyoga's true power lie in the cosmo that freezes his enemies, or in the invisible tears he hides within himself?